A lot of organizations assume that preparing for an ISO 27001 audit means printing out a mountain of policies, handing them to an auditor, and waiting for a passing grade. But compliance is really about building an information security management system, or ISMS. Think of it as a living framework that continuously adapts to protect your data while aligning with your core business operations. This video breaks down the 5-step framework used to build a practical ISMS from scratch and secure your certification. Before we take the first step, you have to meet 2 prerequisites. You need active commitment from your top management, and you need a complete inventory of your critical information assets. Without documented leadership support and a clear view of your assets, an auditor will lack the evidence of accountability needed to even begin the certification process. Every strategic journey starts by finding out exactly where you currently stand. That brings us to step 1, assessing your current security maturity. You do this by running a gap assessment. You take your existing policies, IT infrastructure, and daily processes and measure them against the specific requirements of the ISO 27001 standard. This chart shows exactly what that looks like. By comparing your current state directly to the standard, you generate a priority list that shows the distance between where you are today and where you need to be. Now that you know what's missing, step 2 is building the ISMS foundation. This means drafting your core security policies, identifying the interested parties who rely on your data, and assigning ownership for every security task. When setting the scope of their ISMS, organizations often try to include every single department and data flow. Instead, restrict your focus strictly to your critical business functions. If the boundaries are too wide, the project will stall, draining resources on non-essential systems. Combining a precise, narrow scope with an honest gap assessment transforms an overwhelming compliance task into a targeted, manageable project. With the boundaries set, we move to the core engine of the standard. Step 3, risk assessment and treatment. This risk matrix shows threat probability on one axis and business impact on the other, plotting specific threats against their operational damage. The objective is to apply treatments until these highest priority threats are pushed down to an acceptable business level. That treatment process leads directly into step 4, implementing security controls. This is where you put physical and technical measures in place to neutralize the risks you just mapped. For high-priority threats like unauthorized access, you deploy specific technical controls like rigorous data encryption and multi-factor authentication. To maintain operations against ransomware or supply chain attacks, you add measures like secure offsite backups and enforce vendor security checks. Successful security requires surgical implementation. Every control you choose should respond directly to a specific threat documented in your risk matrix. After the controls are built, we reach step 5, validate and prepare for certification. Before you invite an external auditor, you must execute an internal audit of your own systems. Once you find the flaws, management must formally review the findings and approve the necessary fixes. This internal review provides the evidence external auditors look for, proof that your system can identify its own errors and improve over time. The internal audit is a safety net. It allows the organization to find and resolve its own gaps before they become official findings during the certification process. Receiving the official certificate marks the point where the implementation project ends and the long-term operational cycle begins. Maintaining the ISMS requires specific habits. You must review your security policies as the business evolves and run regular training sessions to help employees identify new threats. On the technical side, you keep your defenses sharp by performing regular vulnerability assessments and penetration testing, or VAPT. You also have to monitor your third-party vendors actively, ensuring they maintain the same strict compliance standards your own organization has achieved. You don't have to navigate this complex journey alone. Reach out to Lumiverse Solutions to start with a structured gap assessment and build an ISMS that evolves with your business.